Point 1. What's the animal rebellion all about? Ever pondered what would transpire if animals could govern themselves? If they could break free from the shackles of human control and establish their own society? Well, that's exactly what happens in a certain farm, where the animals, tired of their life under the oppressive rule of Mr. Jones, decide to take matters into their own hooves, claws, and paws. The animals' dissatisfaction with their life under Mr. Jones is palpable. They are overworked, underfed, and exploited for their labor. Their lives are filled with hardship and deprivation, with no respite in sight. This grim existence fuels their desire for change, for a life where they are not mere commodities but beings with rights and freedoms. The spark that ignites this desire into a full-blown rebellion is a dream. Old Major, a wise and respected boar, shares a dream he had of a world where animals live free from the tyranny of humans. His words resonate with the animals, stirring in them a fervor for revolution, a longing for a world where they are masters of their own fate. The rebellion, when it happens, is swift and decisive. United by a common cause, the animals work together to overthrow Mr. Jones. Their unity and determination are awe-inspiring, a testament to their shared desire for a better life. The success of the rebellion is a moment of triumph, a beacon of hope in their bleak existence. In the aftermath of the rebellion, the farm is renamed Animal Farm, a symbolic declaration of their newfound independence. The animals embark on an experiment with self-governance and equality, establishing a set of commandments to guide their new society. It's a brave new world, one where every animal is equal. The rebellion, however, is not just a pivotal event, but also a catalyst that sets the stage for the rest of the story. It influences the animals' actions and decisions in the subsequent chapters, shaping the trajectory of their lives. The rebellion, in essence, becomes a mirror reflecting their aspirations, their struggles, and their ultimate fate. So, what does the animal rebellion tell us about the desire for freedom and equality? It tells us that these are not just human desires but universal ones, shared by all sentient beings. It tells us that the quest for freedom and equality can unite the most diverse of individuals, inspiring them to challenge the status quo and strive for a better world. But it also warns us of the pitfalls that can accompany such a quest, of the dangers of power and corruption, and of the fragility of ideals in the face of harsh realities. What's animalism all about? Ever pondered about the concept of equality and fairness? How about a society where everyone is equal and there's no hierarchy? Sounds utopian, right? Well, that's the idea behind animalism, a system of thought created by the pigs in George Orwell's Animal Farm. The pigs, being the most intelligent animals on the farm, were able to read and write. This gave them an edge over the other animals, allowing them to shape the ideology of animalism to their advantage. They were the architects of this new order, the intellectual elite, if you will. At the heart of animalism is the principle that all animals are equal. This was a radical shift from the previous order where humans were superior and animals were mere subjects. It's akin to the Marxist principle of from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. The idea was to create a society where everyone contributes what they can and gets what they need. To govern this new society, the pigs came up with the 7 commandments of animalism, which were written on the barn wall. These commandments were designed to guide the behavior of the animals and maintain equality. But here's the catch. The pigs, being the clever creatures they were, found ways to manipulate these commandments to control the other animals. The pigs played a significant role in the establishment and propagation of animalism. They were the ones who interpreted the commandments, explained them to the other animals, and ensured they were followed. This is reminiscent of the role of the intellectual elite in a society, who often shape and control ideologies. However, as the story unfolds, we see the pigs corrupting the system of animalism for their own benefit. They began to manipulate the commandments to justify their actions, leading to a society that was far from the ideal of equality that animalism initially promised. This is Orwell's critique of how power can corrupt and how ideologies can be manipulated for personal gain. So, what started as a utopian vision of equality and fairness ended up as a dystopian reality of manipulation and control. It's a stark reminder of the potential for corruption in any system of thought or ideology. So, the next time you come across a seemingly perfect system, remember the pigs and their version of animalism. After all, as Orwell famously wrote, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Power struggle. Napoleon versus Snowball on Animal Farm. In the heart of George Orwell's Animal Farm, a power struggle unfolds between 2 pig leaders, Napoleon and Snowball, each with a distinct vision for the farm's future. This struggle, which ultimately shapes the fate of the farm and its animal inhabitants, is a central theme in the book. Snowball, an eloquent and passionate pig, dreams of a progressive farm where innovation and education are prioritized. He believes in the power of knowledge and envisions a farm where every animal, regardless of their species, has access to education. Snowball also champions democratic decision-making, advocating for meetings where all animals can voice their opinions and vote on important matters. On the other hand, Napoleon, a large and rather fierce-looking boar, has a different vision. He focuses on consolidating power, preferring autocracy over democracy. Napoleon's ideology is less about progress and more about control. He believes in the superiority of pigs and sees no need for widespread education or democratic decision-making. The power struggle between these two leaders reaches a climax when Napoleon, using his trained dogs, ousts Snowball from the farm. This act, a clear demonstration of Napoleon's consolidation of power, significantly alters the power dynamics of the farm. Snowball's expulsion marks a turning point in the story, signaling the end of democratic governance and the beginning of autocratic rule. In the aftermath of Snowball's expulsion, the farm undergoes significant changes. The democratic decision-making process that Snowball advocated for is replaced by Napoleon's autocratic rule. The animals, once participants in the farm's governance, are now mere subjects of Napoleon's dictatorship. This shift in governance has a profound impact on the animals and the farm as a whole, leading to a decline in living conditions and a rise in inequality. The power struggle between Napoleon and Snowball is not just a tale of two pigs fighting for control of a farm. It's a reflection of the broader themes of the book, including the corruption of power, the dangers of ignorance, and the fragility of freedom. Through this struggle, Orwell illustrates how power can be abused, how ignorance can be exploited, and how freedom can be lost in the blink of an eye. How animalism's ideals got corrupted. Ever wondered how a seemingly perfect system can gradually turn into a nightmare? Well, the answer lies in George Orwell's Animal Farm, where the noble principles of animalism, a doctrine created by the animals to govern themselves, get corrupted over time. Animalism, at its inception, was a beacon of hope for the animals on the farm. It was a doctrine that promised equality and freedom, a stark contrast to their previous life under the oppressive rule of Mr. Jones, the human farmer. The 7 commandments of animalism, which included principles like all animals are equal and no animal shall kill any other animal, were designed to ensure a fair and just society. However, as time passed, these principles were gradually corrupted, with Napoleon, the pig who emerged as the leader, playing a significant role in this process. Napoleon, with his cunning and manipulative tactics, began to bend the rules to suit his interests. He used his position to control the other animals, spreading fear and using propaganda to justify his actions. For instance, he trained a litter of puppies to be his personal bodyguards, ensuring his unchallenged rule over the farm. Under Napoleon's leadership, the pigs began to enjoy certain privileges that were in direct violation of the principles of animalism. They moved into the farmhouse, started sleeping in beds, and even began to walk on 2 legs, mimicking the humans they had once despised. These privileges not only contradicted the principles of animalism, but also created a divide among the animals, leading to resentment and unrest. The corruption of animalism's ideals is best epitomized by the famous line, "All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others." This line, which was added to the wall where the commandments were written, is a blatant contradiction. It represents the distortion of the original principles of animalism and the establishment of a hierarchy among the animals, with the pigs at the top. In conclusion, the corruption of animalism's ideals in Animal Farm is a cautionary tale about the abuse of power and the distortion of ideals. It shows how a system that was initially designed to ensure equality and justice can be manipulated by those in power to serve their interests. So, the next time you come across a seemingly perfect system, ask yourself, who holds the power and how are they using it? How the farm fell into a worse state. The animal revolution, led by the pigs, started with a promise of equality and prosperity for all animals. The pigs, initially the champions of this revolution, were the brains behind the rebellion against the oppressive human farmer, Mr. Jones. They were the ones who articulated the principles of animalism, a philosophy that championed the rights and equality of all animals. But as the story unfolds, we see a drastic shift in their behavior and principles. The pigs, who once stood for equality and justice, gradually began to adopt human traits. They started walking on 2 legs, wearing clothes, and even drinking alcohol, all things they had initially condemned as human vices. This transformation symbolizes their abandonment of the original ideals of the revolution. They became the very thing they had revolted against, embodying the saying, "Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely." The other animals, who had hoped for a better life post-revolution, continued to live in oppression. Their living conditions did not improve. In fact, they worsened. They worked harder, received less food, and lived in constant fear of the pigs. This stark contrast between the promise of the revolution and the reality of their lives underscores the failure of the revolution and the betrayal by the pigs. The line between the pigs and the humans blurred completely in the final scene, where the pigs were seen dining with the human farmers. This scene is significant as it shows the pigs not just adopting human traits, but also aligning themselves with the humans, their former enemies. It signifies the complete betrayal of the animals' revolution. Under the pigs' rule, the farm, which was supposed to be a utopia for all animals, deteriorated. The animals were overworked, resources were mismanaged, and the farm was in a worse state than it was under Mr. Jones. This deterioration serves as a stark reminder of the failed revolution and the consequences of power and corruption. So, how did the farm end up in a worse state than before? The answer lies in the pigs' transformation into the very beings they revolted against and their betrayal of the animals' trust. The story of Animal Farm serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of power and corruption and the often disappointing reality of revolutions. It reminds us that those who promise to fight for justice and equality can sometimes become the very oppressors they vowed to overthrow. Point 6. Conclusion. Power and corruption can easily go hand in hand, and the oppressed can become the oppressor if not careful. The struggle for freedom can be manipulated by those with cunning and charisma, leading to a cycle of tyranny. It's crucial to question authority and not blindly follow leaders, no matter how appealing their promises may be. Equality is a noble goal, but it can be distorted by those who seek to use it for their own gain. The idea that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, is a stark reminder of this. The importance of education and critical thinking cannot be overstated. Ignorance can lead to manipulation and exploitation. Therefore, it's essential to strive for knowledge and understanding, and not just accept what is told without question. In the end, the struggle for power can lead to a society that is no better than the one it replaced. The key is to strive for a society where power is shared equally and everyone's rights are respected.